All right, good evening. We had to restart this video. Had some issues come up. But I already had opened it and poured it, so it's been set in about 10 minutes. The aesthetics I had went over. It doesn't say whether it's chill filtered or not, and it doesn't really say how old it is. But the aesthetics overall, I like it. I like the embossment. Plenty of neat information on there in the blurb on back. That's pretty neat. And it doesn't give the mash bill either, which most whiskeys don't. Some do, but most don't. And so I'm going to give the aesthetics on this a 7. Let's make it a 7. 7 out of 10, because I do like the embossment on it. I did look up the mash bill, and by the way, these are about $30 a bottle for the most part. And this is a little bit older bottling, and I have bought this in Western Kansas at a small store. I paid about $5 more than what the average price is, about $30. I think I paid around $35 for it. But that was neither here nor there. I liked the guy, and so I was going to do it. But on Rarebird 101, when I looked at the mash bill, he listed it as 65% rye, 23% corn, 12% barley. Breaking Bourbon lists it at 51% rye, 37% corn, 12% malted barley. There's a big difference in there, so we'll just have to see when we get into whether I think it's more or less have the higher rye content in it. And Reddit comments the same thing. Whiskey Ramble says 51%. But Breaking Bourbon, well, that's the Wild Turkey 101. Anyway, we'll just stick with those. So you guys kind of see the conundrum there a little bit. Age is normally going to be, and the typical 101 I think is 6 to 7, 8 years maybe. I do not know what's going on upstairs. There is something going on up there. They're rolling something over the floor. You'll have to forgive the noise. Anyway, aesthetics, we left off at 7s. I'm sorry, I'm a little frustrated because of having to stop and restart like this. Let's get into the nose. We've set for a little minute, so let's have time to timber the nose. This is a neck pour. This was just opened. It's got a nice sweet note to it. Very dill in nature to me. And this is, I forget what my barrel proof was. It's 10% less, I think, than my barrel proof was. At 101, I think it was 111. But don't quote me on that. I get confused. I get the oak in this. I get the vanilla in this. And there's a sweet note comes across, more like a marshmallow, but I'm going to say it's probably the corn influence. Especially think of that Stay Puff, that puffed white marshmallow creams. That's kind of the sweetness that's coming across in the nose. That's about it on the nose. Cheers. It has a little intensity up front. It mellows out rather quickly. And you're left with a sweet note, and that's the corn influence in it. It is a little softer. That's the barley coming through. A little softer, and the notes coming along with it. The vanillas are there. The oak notes are there. That dill is there. It's just really not as prominent in the palate as it is in the nose. There's like a little chocolate in there, white chocolate. I know it sounds weird for a rye, just a touch. Especially comes in the finish. You get a little of that soft barley note in there. It's almost like a malted barley. I'm assuming they use a malted barley in this. But you get a touch of that coming through. That's what's bringing that chocolate note. That's really a nice, pleasant note coming through on that. Mouth coating's good. I like it. So for the nose, I think the nose is a little bit more complex than the palate, so the nose is going to score a little bit higher still. I find that pretty much common with ryes. I like the nose, but it can stand to have a little bit more prominence. So I'm going to give a 17 on the nose. The flavor, after you make it through that little bit of upfront intensity, it tames out, rolls into a more sweet note. I like the little chocolate working with just a slight hint of dill in the background, but that Stay Puft marshmallow cream note stays in there too. And the vanillas are working in this. They work pretty good. So I'm gonna say flavor-wise is just a point behind the nose. So we're gonna give it a 16. Mouthfeel, it's coating, but it's not a complete oil experience or oily or creamy experience. Just, well, a light, that ain't really a cream experience at all. Just a light oily note to it. Mouthfeels, I can't give it too high a score on the mouthfeel. It's not watery, but it's not far from being watery. For me anyway. So I'm gonna give the mouthfeel a 13. Finish is nice. And the finish rolls into that little chocolate and that malted barley. It wraps up in your mouth, continues, lingers. That's a good finish. I do tend to like the finish. The finish is gonna get the same score as the flavor. It's gonna get 16. Value, this is $30. I'm gonna go on the value because I paid a little more I normally wouldn't pay, but I paid it because I'm trying to build a relationship with the guy. So I paid $35 roughly for the bottle. So at $30, I think it's a safe buy. I think this is a good whiskey for $30. I think value's high on this one. I'm gonna give value a 9. I really am. I think the value's there. For rye whiskey, you gotta remember, we'll just compare it to rye whiskeys. Anyway, let's see what we got. Let's see what our score's gonna be. So we got 7 plus 17 plus 16 plus 13. Yeah, the mouthfeel's really holding this back a little bit. Plus 16 on the finish and plus 9 on the value. Let's just have 78 out of 100. There's nothing wrong. There's no furniture polish or anesthetic type. Sometimes that comes across in rye. There's none of that. None of the acetones that sometimes you get a little bit of if you get too. That shows up in rye more, I think, than it does bourbons for me. It doesn't have none of that. It's all pleasantly to drink. It could stand with a little more mouthfeel, but the flavor, I mean, it's not a poor score, the 17 and the 16 on the nose and the flavor, and even the 16 on the finish. Those are not poor scores. So anyway, it's a buy for me. Anyway, remember, the spirit in your glass ain't running from you. Take your time, sip and enjoy it. You'll be better for it, as will we all. I'm gonna finish this and enjoy it. Everyone have a good evening. I may have another while I'm editing.